Hey everyone, Eric here and welcome back to the channel. If you've been following financial news recently, then you've probably seen the monthly updates about the dreaded inflation rate crisis. Up until the recording of this video, the current inflation rate stands at 8.5% year over year, meaning that if you stuffed a $100 bill under your bed last August and had just forgotten about it until now, that same $100 bill has 8.5% less purchasing power year over year. And while the Federal Reserve is currently combating the current inflation rate, one of the biggest concerns that I have right now is what to do with my money in the meantime so that it doesn't continue to lose value month over month. And since the economy has hit bear territory with riskier investments such as stocks and crypto taking a dive in recent months, I've been on a search for safer means of investments so that my money doesn't continue to lose value. So in this video, we'll be taking a look at different options out there to combat the current inflation crisis so that your money doesn't continue to lose value month after month. We'll be taking a look at a combination of high yield savings accounts, certificate of deposits or CDs, and Treasury Bonds, specifically iBonds. And after watching this video, if you decide that it was helpful for you, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to help me push out this video to other people. And with that, let's get right into this video. Savings accounts are exactly as they are described to be. They're a place to store your money in case of a rainy day in the future. Generally speaking, most financial advisors recommend anywhere between 3 months to 6 months of monthly expenses saved up. But what if I told you that some savings accounts out there are better than others? For instance, Bank of America, one of the largest banks in the United States, has a high yield savings account that has an annual yield or APY of 0.02%. That means that hypothetically, if you were to put $10,000 into a high yield savings account with Bank of America and didn't touch it for an entire year, you'll gain a total of $2 for the entire year. Pretty depressing stuff considering the fact that if you had put the $10,000 last August and you needed the money today, that $10,002 would have lost 8.5% purchasing power year over year. So what are the best banks out there that are currently actually offering high yield savings accounts? At number 1, we have SoFi Bank. Starting out as initially a student loan organization, they've branched out into other loan types such as mortgages and credit cards, and now even banking. Their hybrid style checking and savings account currently has one of the highest annual percentage yields, or APY for short, clocking in at 2%, a whole 100 times better than Bank of America's low 0.02% savings account, or 66 times better than the national average of 0.03%. I mean, come on, Bank of America, at least be average, right? There's also the capability to get your money 2 days earlier, all the while paying no account fees or overdraft fees, and the ability to get $300 when you set up a new checking and savings account and also set up a new direct deposit. Looking at the finer details, however, in order to get the $300 cash bonus, one must add a total of $5,000 in direct deposit within the first 30 days. And for those of you out there that don't set up direct deposit, the APY rate drops to 1%. So just to be fully transparent, in order to get the 2%, you must set up direct deposit, or else without direct deposit, that APY will go down to 1%. Also, SoFi is FDIC insured for up to $250,000, so any amount below that amount, your money is safe with SoFi. The next bank we'll be talking about is actually the bank that I personally bank with myself, Ally Bank. If you haven't heard about Ally Bank, they've been around for a pretty long time, and I actually heard about this bank through Graham Stephan when he verbally endorsed it about 2 to 3 years ago. It's got an APY of 1.6%, which is 53 times better than the national average, and Ally Bank does a great job at comparing itself to some traditional brick and mortar banks like Bank of America, JP Morgan and Chase, and Wells Fargo. One feature that I do love about Ally is their buckets feature, which helps you divvy up your savings into different buckets that coexist together in the same savings account, such as having one bucket for emergencies, one bucket for vacations, and one bucket for home. It also has no monthly maintenance fee or minimum balance requirements, and like SoFi, it's also FDIC insured. Another bank with a great savings APY is none other than Capital One's 360 Performance Savings Account. Not only does Capital One provide a great list of credit cards, but their banking system is also not too shabby either. Their savings account nets 1.5% APY that clocks in at 50 times better than the national average of 0.03%. There's also no monthly or maintenance fees and no minimum requirements as well. It also has a pretty user-friendly mobile app as well as being FDIC insured. And since we've talked about both Ally Bank and Capital One, Let's also talk about certificate of deposits too, since both of them provide some great rates as well. For those of you out there that don't know what certificate of deposits are, or CDs are special savings accounts that are locked for a fixed amount of time that generally give a higher APY rate than traditional savings accounts do. Here's some examples. Let's see. For Capital One, you get CDs for fixed times as little as 6 months to as high as 60 months or 5 years. The higher the amount of time that you decide to lock your money in, the higher the APY it gives. With Capital One for the 6-month CD, you can get a 1.3% APY, and for the 5-year CD, you can get a super high APY of 3.2%, which coincidentally is comparable to the average inflation rate of 3.8% that was calculated between the years of 1960 and 2021, which means that your hypothetical $10,000 example at the beginning of this video wouldn't lose that much value after 5 years, especially since the money compounds over time. After the first year, your $10,000 turns into $10,320, $10,650.24 the second year, $10,991 the third year, $11,342 the fourth year, and then $11,705 the fifth and final year. Meaning that after 5 years, your initial $10,000 investment has made you $1,705. In the same amount of time, if you stuffed that $10,000 under your mattress for 5 years and had an average inflation rate of 3.8%, which is average, you'd end up with $8,239 in purchasing power. Same with Ally Bank, that has a certificate of deposit option that spans from 3 months all the way up to 5 years as well. With the 5-year CDs clocking in at 2.9%, which is capable of combating inflation similarly to Capital One. What Ally Bank also does well, in my opinion, is to compare itself with actual competition as well. Alright, so last but not least, let's talk about Treasury Bonds, or iBonds specifically. If you don't know what iBonds are, they are a savings bonds that earns interest rate on combining a fixed rate and an inflation rate. And it's one of the safest ways out there in terms of combating inflation. The current rate for iBonds right now is 9.62%. Remember the fact that inflation right now, year after year, is 8.5%, which means iBonds are actually beating inflation right now. It is federally taxable, however, for local and state income taxes, it isn't. You can either do electronic or paper purchasing, but please be mindful that when done electronically, you can purchase $10,000 worth each calendar year, as opposed to paper purchasing, which is limited to only $5,000. And just the FYI, iBonds earn interest for 30 years, unless you cash them out first. You can cash them out after 1 year, but if you cash them out before 5 years, you will lose the previous 3 months. So just to be mindful, if you decide to buy some iBonds for yourself and or family members, they won't be accessible for at least 1 year. So in these trying times where inflation rates are sky high, you definitely shouldn't be putting your hard-earned extra money under your mattress and or in a poorly optimized savings account. You definitely should be trying to strategize to optimize saving your money from decreasing any more value by placing them in a highly optimized savings account, certificate of deposit, or Treasury Bonds, specifically iBonds. Hopefully through watching this video, you were able to pick up a few tips and tricks in order to help you put more money in your pockets. And again, if you like the content within this video, feel free to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. It would really help me out. I'm so close to 1,000 subscribers and it would really make my day. So with that all being said, thank you for watching as always. Until next time, stay safe out there, everyone.